Okay, so it's been a while since I have done an episode in this series. I'm really sorry if anyone has been waiting for this, but I'm going to add a couple of cool features to the map editor today, which I hope you will enjoy. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing we are going to do is have the ability to lock our mouse to either the horizontal or vertical axis. It's going to make placing walls a really easy thing to do, where before it was pretty tedious and it was easy to make mistakes. So the first thing we want to do is go into our OBJ map editor object, and in the step event we had two lines that were just setting grid X and grid Y to these values. What we're going to do now is before we change grid X, we're going to check to see if we are not holding down the Z key. So this is new basically to this line. And we're going to do the same thing for grid Y. We're going to check if X is not being held down. And what's going to happen is when we hold down one of these keys, we're going to lock the mouse to a particular axis. So for example, when we hold down Z, grid X isn't going to change, which means we're going to be locked to a vertical axis. And when we press X, grid Y is not going to change, which locks us to a horizontal axis. That's going to work, but we want to give ourselves a visual clue. So to do that, we're going to go into the draw event of our map editor object. And at the very bottom, this is the closing bracket for this line for var xx equals 0, xx less than h shells, xx plus plus. So this is the closing bracket for that line, and we're going to have a brand new region here to say if the axis is locked, display the row or column. So it's pretty straightforward. We're going to check if we are on the current level, and we're going to check to see if we're either holding down the Z key and XX is equal to grid X, or we're holding down the X key and YY equals grid Y. So we're either going to be locking the vertical or horizontal alignment. Like I said, if one of these two conditions are true, then we're going to draw our grass sprites, but we're going to draw it in blue to give us like a nice blue tile. And then so all it does, it just draws our cursor sprite below the guideline. I'm going to call this guideline basically. So that's all we have to do to actually get this to work. So if I run the game now, oh, one more thing, sorry. In I think it was last episode, in the create event of the controller, we commented out the line that takes us to the map editor. Well, we need to go back to the map editor to actually test this, so we're gonna swap things around. So we want to be going to the map editor when the game starts. So let's run the game, and if I hold down Z, move the mouse around, the cursor doesn't move. If I hold down X, the same thing happens. And I'll show you, what about if I want to make a wall? All I've got to do, hold down Z, hold down the mouse and do that. Same for the other axis. It makes it really easy. And then if I was on a higher level, again, this shows you where the tile is going to go, like that. So awesome. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we are going to make the walls transparent when the cursor is behind them. So that's pretty simple. All we need to do is go into our map editor, into the draw event, and then previously we had this for loop which goes through the different tile parts. We grab the indices. If it's greater than 0, that means there's something to draw. This was our line that did the drawing. We're going to comment that out and use a new region, and all we're going to do is check to see if the tile part we're trying to draw is a west or north wall. If it is, and the mouse cursor is behind it. It could be, you know, directly behind it, or to the left or to the right. If one of those two conditions is true, then we are going to change the alpha value from 1 to 0.25, and we're going to use draw Sprite ext to draw that. If the tile part is a floor or decoration, then the alpha is going to be 1, and these two lines are going to be ignored. So this is new. Let's run the game. Going to make a wall. Let's do one. Oops. And let's make one like this as well. You can already see there's where the transparency is. So whenever the mouse cursor is behind the wall, that wall turns transparent. If it's too transparent, just change the value from 0.25 to something higher. That's all you have to do. So it just allows us to see the floor behind the wall. That's the main purpose of this. Okay, the last thing we are going to do today is going to be another update to our map editing. It's going to be another visual clue for us for making maps, and we're going to have a delete sprite, so we can tell easily when we are trying to delete something, and also what we are trying to delete. So I have this sprite called SBR delete. It has 4 frames. Each frame matches a tile part. So we have floor, west wall, north wall, and then decoration. And then all we're going to do is in the map editor and the draw event again, near the very bottom of our double for loop, just above our last new region, sorry, not the last one, the first new region where we lock the axis. Just above there, this is new. So what we're going to do, we're going to check to see if XX is grid X and YY is grid Y, and the current level is the current level being drawn, and whether we're either holding down the right mouse button or we have an empty tile to place, which is basically deleting something. If all of this is true and one of these things are true, then we're going to draw our new sprite. The image index is going to be the tile part to place, which is going to give us the right frame, and then draw X, draw Y. So if we run the game again now, and right now we have grass selected. If I press left, you can see our delete sprite shows the floor. Looking at it now, I'm thinking, you know, we're showing the cursor and the delete sprite. Maybe we should just have the, you know, cursor show itself, you know, and the different frames. But I don't know. I'm gonna stick with this for now. So if I left click and I'm deleting frames, if I change back to, let's make a wall. Let's make a wall on the edge here. If I hold down the right mouse button, you can see we've changed to the wall delete. Do we not delete with mouse button? I guess we need to add that in. So right now I'm holding the right mouse button. It's looking like it should delete, but it's not. So I'm just going to update the code in the step to allow for that, and then we'll be done. Okay, so if we go into the step event of OBJ map editor, above the change current tile to tile to place region, we have a brand new region called remove walls or decoration. Should also be floor. Let's just say remove tile part. Makes more sense. And all we're doing is we're just checking to see if we are holding down the right mouse button. If we are, we're going to get the data list from our floor grid, and we're going to do a check. We're going to, because I don't want the floor to be deleted if we're on the very bottom floor. So if tile part to place is not ground, or we're above the bottom floor, then we're just going to change the tile part to place to 0. I'll delete it. And if we run the game, you will see what I mean. We can kind of combine all the things we've done today. So I'm going to place a wall here with the guidelines, and then I'm going to hold down right mouse button. It's easily, I can even hold down the axis key and just do that as well. Make it even easier. And there you go. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I will catch you next time. Bye for now.